I don't
Hey
care.
guys,
By the
we're
way.
back. We're back. Sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulties merging phone calls here. So something just closed. Somebody just closed.
I don't know. Something close.
All right. So anyway, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get Joel Lakey in today, but we do have Matt Tracy with us. Matt, welcome to the show.
What's up?
Okay, he's gonna try and do
Hey,
Skype
what's going
audio
on, guys?
only, and I should be able to merge those two calls. So
We're doing our best.
we'll see if we can make that happen. So Matt, I mean, you were just on a couple weeks ago, man. How have you been since then?
It's been a little rough. Living in a.
Okay. Shit.
Hey, Joel, how's it going,
Hey
buddy?
Joel.
Does this work?
I don't know. I got to see if I can merge Matt in because it just it kind of just. See, we weren't expecting to have to merge two telephone calls, so we're in a little bit of trouble there with that. Let's see. Ed. No, he's got a call now, and then I have to merge you two, and you're gonna have to accept the merge. Okay. Answer. Okay. Add group call. Sorry guys, we're working it out. We're almost there. And Joel.
Hey, man.
Joel. Hey. Okay. Now Joel's should be in just a second. Yeah. So how you been, Matt?
Been a little rough lately. Been
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm surviving.
Joel, we got you.
I'm.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Awesome. Can you hear everyone?
What's up, Joel?
Can you guys
How
hear
are
each-
you?
Hey, how's it
Great.
going? Can you guys hear each other?
Yeah.
All right. Great. So we are
Hey,
rolling.
you can hear me? Cool deal.
We apologize out there to the viewers, guys. We do the best we can. It's not like we're a multi-million-dollar corporation putting out blue chicken propaganda. You know what I mean? we do what we can, man. So, guys, Joel, thanks for coming on. Sorry about the glitch there, and Matt again, thanks for coming on. So, just before we even start, did you guys know each other up there or something? Or are you just
No.
friends?
No, just on Facebook.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess we could start with the similarities first. I mean, you've both said you think you served in DARKFLEET, or, whatever you want to call it, Nagwaffen, Das Bundy's German group, whatever. So, how, I know your experience, Matt, what you can remember, you were a pilot, and Joel, you were doing combat mostly, right? Do you have any memories of doing any type of piloting or anything like that?
No, just strictly fighting.
Okay, so no, nothing on a ship or anything like that.
Well, no, I did pilot a ship in Kuwait with it's like a ship that your consciousness can go into, and you can fly the controls of that.
So it's like a small fighter type thing, as opposed to like a
It was
big.
a transport fighter ship. Yeah, it was like my consciousness was one with it, and I could fly it, and I could see. I was project my mind out of it and see it and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like you sit in a chair, you lean back and close your eyes, and suddenly your senses are the ship.
Yeah, you are the ship. Yeah, that's how it feels
Yeah,
like.
that's how it is on the teardrop that I piloted.
So obviously same technology in both style craft.
The teardrops are the Draco ships, right?
Well, the Darkfleet Draco.
Teardrops are Nachtwaffen.
All right, so tell me, in your understanding of it, what factions, races, or whatever are aligned with the German group, the Darkfleet Nagwaffen, whichever you would prefer to call it?
Well, from what I've seen, I saw Germans, mantids, reptilians, and greys of various sizes, all working side by side. I've seen, at least in what I can remember so far, I remember one other being, but I think he was walking around like a guest. He was being shown around. I don't know if he was part of anything. I don't even know if it was a him or a her. It was a weird-looking being.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about it in my blog. that being that looked very similar to the aliens on the Independence Day movie, just in the head area, when not the exoskeleton suit that they wear, but the beings on the inside, like the big fin on the back of the head and the black eyes.
Very interesting. So you think that that particular movie might have had a little bit of drip disclosure in it?
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if every sci-fi movie out there has some sort of disclosure in it.
Well, immediately Stargate comes to mind when you talk about the chair, because in Atlantis, that's how they operated the ancient technology with that chair. Joel, Joel, what about in your experience? What races did you encounter being aligned with the group you're involved with?
Mostly tall grays or short grays, reptilian warrior class or royals, and like archons, dark entities.
So like when you say archons, do you mean like energy beings?
Yeah,
they're basically higher density beings with that don't have physical bodies anymore.
Yeah, and they're like they're darker beings. Like they feed off like the energy of negativity. Like they have like a black shape to them.
The Loosh,
like
so
vampires.
To speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how would you know if you encountered an archon? I mean, would you see like a mist, or is it like a telepathic, empathic type thing, or you just don't even know?
Ones I encountered, they're like it's like a black humanoid-looking shadow standing in front of you, and then they'll start talking into your mind, and you'll instantly be frozen because they'll just put all this negativity equation to you.
Interesting.
For me, it's I kind of tell them if it's them when it's like when I look at their eyes, all there is this empty chasm, like holes in their where their eyes are supposed to be, and it's like I'm being sucked in. And I take that as them absorbing life energy from me.
Then the guy we just had on previously, UFO investigator from Maine, his name's Don. He was just on last hour, and he was telling us about an encounter with shadow beings that he had. Do you think that maybe these shadow beings are these archons being mistaken for something else?
I wouldn't doubt it. Then you've got beings that are, they've got physical bodies, but they're astral projecting.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Joel? You think that could be a possibility?
There's a bunch of names for different things. Everyone makes their own names for them. It's just the description of what they do.
Okay, so you were breaking up a little bit, but I think what you were saying was...
Yeah, I didn't understand a word you said.
I think what you were saying...
Everyone, there's always a bunch of names for different groups of aliens. That everyone makes their own names for them.
So you think a lot of the stories of shadow peoples are probably the same thing that you're talking about?
Oh yeah, they like to lurk around and like feed off people and stuff like that. So
it makes sense. So I mean, have you ever had an experience with these particular entities in life, regular waking life, get up, go to work, grind type life?
I personally had one. I was in my room and I went to bed, and he pulled me out of my body and into some alternate reality, and he was standing behind a glass door, and he just projected my mind. He says, "I can keep doing this forever if you want me to keep doing it," like an evil voice type thing. And I was just kind of like shocked and weirded out that I'm just like, I don't know what he meant by that. Maybe he's been in my life forever. I don't know.
So they don't really have much of a sense of humor. What is your experience with him? Up there.
The archons up there is just mostly just down here. Up there is just mostly like reptilians and tall grays or short grays.
Okay.
For me, anyways.
All right. I'm sorry. I confused you too. I'm sorry about that. So, what about you, Joel? Not Joel. Jeez, man. It's only hour 3 and I can't even do this.
Brain melting.
Matt.
His last mind wipe is a real doozy.
You said you had the encounters with the archons up there, right?
No, it's mostly down here.
Okay.
Since as far back as I can remember, I remember them. They usually come around when the grays come around too. Like when I'm being taken, they're around a lot more. It's like they follow. It's like they follow them around,
Maybe it's
or they're working with them.
Yeah, maybe they're the greys that you're encountering with these beings are the machine type greys, and the archons are working them.
Right. I've also encountered shadow beings taking on the form of mantids. With I don't experience any emotions from these beings. I've always taken it as the mantids are actually astral projecting or remote viewing into my area, into my field of vision, and probably just observing me or something.
Interesting.
I have a good story about remote viewing. Some Tony Meadows guy messaged me on Facebook saying that he saw my super soldier body on the moon fighting a reptilian warrior, and then my avatar got killed, and then he saw me be thrown back into my body in this bedroom, and he was remote viewing the entire time he did.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I heard about that war going on in some of the private messages. And I have no memories of it myself, but it's going around lately.
Yeah, it's on the moon. They're fighting for bases and stuff.
Really? Can you elaborate on that?
Oh yeah, there's still skirmishes going on.
It's a war between like tall grays, short grays, humans, and reptilians. Like it's like almost like a civil war on control.
Interesting. So,
pretty much,
is DARKFLEET involved with that to your knowledge, or is it just like the American programs like Solar Warden or whatever?
It's all of them. It's just like I work directly with is DARKFLEET, right? So I only trained in Solar Warden. I was transferred over to DARKFLEET.
Right. Well, I guess they're kind of aligned because you hear a lot of cross crewmanship, I guess you could say. Like you'll do some work on Solar Warden, or you'll get trained in Solar Warden, go to DARKFLEET, or I guess not so much vice versa. You don't really hear people coming from DARKFLEET and going to Solar Warden.
Yeah, well, Solar Warden is a U.S. Based program. They're Navy, and mostly all the MyLab stuff is really the CIA doing that. The CIA and the private contractor groups also working alongside the CIA, taking kids and even adults from time to time. But anytime kids are taken into the programs, I was taken at 9 years old. I know Penny was taken at like 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's the CIA doing that.
Right. So
they take you on and they torture you, they mind fracture you, they rape you until you start displaying multiple personalities, and they take those personalities. They don't just put you into service, but they put those other personalities into clone bodies of you, so they can use you even more.
So we're talking about like. It's like a soul splitting type deal, to where you could.
No, it has nothing to do with the soul. It's literally the consciousness itself. It's all the soul and the consciousness aren't exactly the same thing. The soul is your life essence. It's you, and your consciousness is basically your brain waves, your memories. Your thoughts, those can be separated from the soul.
You have anything to put in on that, Joel?
No, not really. I just the only thing I could think of is like when I'm in my super soldier bodies, there's like it's like complete like the thoughts that I have in that body are like demonic. When you fight against other reptilians, you think of like when I was fighting the reptilian on the moon base, I ripped one of them apart by like projecting his insides being reversed, so his body went reversed, so his guts were on the outside, his skin was on the inside, and I killed him that way. So it's just like a gruesome death.
Yeah, that sounds pretty gruesome, man.
Yeah.
We got such a late start. I'm going to go ahead and if anyone has a question for either one of these fine gentlemen, If you're watching somewhere other than YouTube, hop over to YouTube and I will do that, Tomas. Just give me a second. Hop over to YouTube, put it in the YouTube chat, and we will get it to them. I got a question from Tomas. He wants you to tell us about being declawed. Joel.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Joel. Tomas wants to know about being declawed.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. He just said ask Joel about being declawed.
I have no idea what that means.
Okay.
Not unless it's
Me neither.
I don't have claws.
All right. Well,
could be a torture technique from the Don.
Yeah, torture technique.
I get tortured a lot, like on a
No doubt.
like a monthly basis.
Rip the fingernails out, possibly with inducing with medicines that where you wouldn't feel the pain, but they still keep ripping the nails out, and that adds to some sort of psychological damage to further their cause.
They have to.
The worst pain I've ever been in was they call the water chime. It's like a vibration. You go to this waterfall and it creates this loud vibration that gets louder and louder, where it vibrates all your cells and molecules in your brain waves to like the point of you like you feel like you're gonna explode and just lose your mind, and then it just like feels like you're just like it's just the worst pain I ever felt, and then it just psychologically like disciplines you to behave and stuff.
That sounds pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's the worst pain
what
I've
they do.
experienced.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what they do with the torture, the reason they doing the torture is literally to break your mind. It's just like in normal military training. They break people down so they can rebuild their minds. It has nothing to do with their bodies. It has to do with their minds.
Right.
So they can rebuild their minds into something that they want. And the torture is the purpose of it. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart right now.
Oh, that's okay.
The purpose of the torture is to literally make you emotionally dead. It's literally to create sociopaths.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing I struggle with, because like when they torture me, I get so to the point of like so hatred and so revengeful, and like then they put me in scenarios where I can have my revenge, and the thoughts I think I just like it's like I don't want to kill this person. I want to like destroy their entire bloodline and just demonic thoughts. And then when I'm in this body, I think when someone pisses me off, I have the same thoughts. I'm just like, whoa, like, don't tell people those thoughts, because
well, yeah, definitely.
That happens to me too. It's like, since I was little, since it happened, I didn't know that this was going on when I was little. I started having the nightmares and stuff, and I was always putting in the back of my mind that this isn't happening to me. This is just nightmares. But I started displaying certain symptoms in my psyche, in my everyday life. Like all of a sudden I started having problems with people touching me. It's like my dad, I remember in the hallway we were painting the baseboards, and my dad comes up behind me and puts his hand on my shoulder, and I freaked. And it was just after the first time I was taken. And now in hindsight, I start looking back at all those times things like that happened. And it was because of what they did to me in the training. It was because of the torture. It was because of the rape. And it doesn't just, when they mind wipe you and put you back, it doesn't go away. All those torments and traumas and psychological problems that are created because of it doesn't go away. It's still there. All of a sudden it just appears one day, and you have no idea why it's there.
My mind is like, so I was a general in the DARKFLEET, and then I'll have problems with, like, I'll tell someone to do something, and if they don't listen the first time, I get super aggressive. Like, I gave you a direct order and do it, and they're like, well, you can't boss me. And I'm like, well, what? Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. It just came out like aggressively, and it's just like me giving orders to someone, expect them to do it on command without questions asked, and then I have to realize that, hey, I'm not a general down here, I'm just a civilian. So stop
right. And Joel,
my dad's similar way to that here, because he was an officer in the Army back in the 70s. Like, if you don't do what he said, he starts getting verbally aggressive, because that's the way they were trained to act in the Army back then.
Oh yeah, I get like with my girlfriend. Sometimes I have to stop myself because I'll say something, and she's like, "Why are you giving me an order?" And then I'll get like, and I'll look at her with that look like, "How dare you talk back to me?" I'll say that in my head, and I'm like, "Whoa, this is civilian life, not military life. Calm down."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just comes out.
I've had to remove that from my own psyche, which is still ongoing.
Yeah.
So you guys kind of bring up an interesting point. You both were, I guess you could say, soldiers to some degree. I know you said you were a pilot, but you were obviously a combat pilot because you do have a recall of some, action with the ship. When people come out and tell their stories and they say that they were used as like an empath, let's just take Corey Good for example. Right? Any of the people that I've heard say they were used as an empath didn't go through the trauma. I wonder I guess they can't, because if you make someone a sociopath, you're totally cutting off their feelings of empathy. You know what I mean?
That's that body though, right? Like in this body, I'm an empath and psychic. I can predict feelings and sensitivity of negativity and people lying and stuff like that. But the body in my avatar body, it's completely emotionless. Like it's like they give me any command, I'm like, they can command me to do anything, and I'll just do it and I'll look at the dead body.
But that
anything
that altar has
I'm the same way.
But those altars were created to be that way. Whereas when someone is used in a different way, like just to be sense what's feeling going on, you really don't hear them talking about the trauma experience. So even though that you're empathic in your body now, you were still.
I don't think Corey Good wasn't a soldier though. He was just like a person that worked on a ship.
That's what I'm getting.
He was an interrogator, from what I heard.
Well, what I'm getting at, I'm just using an example. I mean, we could debate what he was, if he was anything, whatever. But just as an example, someone who is used as kind of a, go-between empath doesn't really have the stories of the trauma, whereas someone is used as a soldier like you guys went through the fucking shit, man. They put you guys through the ringer. And, even though you are empathic in your body now, you were still put through the trauma to be used as a soldier and not as an empath. So I guess you could say the empaths kind of got the easy way out.
Hey, Joel, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you an INFP?
What does that mean?
It's a personality type.
I have multiple personalities that I have to control at once.
No. It's a designated personality type. It's from a test. There's 16 different types of personalities.
You have to describe me. I'm not good with words and only faces.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can look it up. The 16 different personality types online later on. But from what I heard, the only reason I was asking is because everybody else that I've talked to that were pilots were either INFPs or INFJ personality types, and all were empaths.
Well, you have to be empathic to fly these machines. Like even when I do mission report work on like say one of the ships, I'm empathically connected to this ship, and I'm just talking in my head, and everything's being recorded on the ship instead of me typing like a computer.
Well, that would be more telepathic, right, than empathic? Because empathic would be more
empathic feelings. Yeah.
Well, it depends. It depends. You can have a system to interpret emotional responses as words, because everything's a language.
Body language, yeah.
Yeah, the reason I brought that up is because Penny and I were talking the other day, and she was telling me how she remembers that only INFPs and INFJs are pilots because they're the only ones that can properly interface with technology without going insane.
Right, that can make sense there. Yeah, we got a chime in from the chat. It says INFJ personality types are empaths naturally.
As far as I know, everyone that I know who's an INFP and INFJ are empaths, but there are other personality types that I know who are also empaths. So it's not isolated to that.
Right. So the Feely Vulcans. The Romulans. Man, I had a question, but I totally dropped the ball on it, man. Because you got talking about all that, and then I was like, woo!
Oh, sorry.
All right, let's see how we doing. We're just looking at time. We got about looks like about 15 minutes left. So, and once again,
Damn,
if you guys,
flies.
I know, well, we got a late start too, and I apologize for that.
Yeah.
I figured it was worth a shot trying to merge the 2 telephone calls, but man, we got to get a replacement for Skype because this really becomes a pain in the ass, man. I mean, it's cool that we can get a number of people could call on a regular phone and shit, but I need to be able to merge 2 calls.
Right.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm trying to think of some other similarities that we could touch on here, since you both were just recently on the show. Hey, great job, you guys, on that too. It was definitely good shows.
Oh, thanks.
Let's see. I don't know what you got, Dan.
I was wondering, just, what do you guys ever have, like, memories of moments where you were looking out back down at the earth, from a ship and just thinking, just being blown away by the massiveness of what you found yourselves in or anything like that? Like, what are some of the more introspective moments that you remember from your service?
Mine was when I was first awakened, and that was when I told you guys on our last interview when I was on that ship and that I could see Earth from the ship, and then that's when I was first awoken with all my memories, etc., etc. And then the most mind-blowing experiences I have are more on Earth, where I look at human beings and they think sci-fi, and they don't see the control system. That's more mind-blowing for me than being in space, because I come from space, right? So space is more normal to me than this
Right.
planet. So like this control system is like more of a mind-blowing experience. Like, how do you not see that this is real, right? Like
Mhm.
yeah,
Well,
that's more
How about you, Matt?
Well, I don't have any memories of being introspective. I only have one memory of looking down at a planet from a spaceship. And it was looking down on the northern pole of Mars, right next to my captain. We were looking out the bridge window just before I turned back and went and sat in the chair. Yeah, I don't remember any introspectiveness at all. I was mostly, most of the time I felt emotionally dead, but then there were these moments where I actually had a moment where I enjoyed myself. And it was like, most of the time it was in the chair. It was so amazing being in that chair and being able to see everything using the ship's sensors as my own senses. It was awe-inspiring. I would become speechless every time I'd sit in the chair.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be one hell of an experience right there.
Yeah.
Like, what's it? Do you guys remember, any tech that's commonly used that may have just recently come out here on Earth that's slowly but surely becoming more available to the public?
no,
Not
it's very
me.
controlled. No, the products that are on Earth is consumer controlled products. It's the stuff up there you'll never see down here unless there's like
It's like
revolution of full disclosure. And
What do you guys?
down here, it's like cavemen looking up at extraterrestrials that just crossed galaxies.
yeah, the humans think they're advanced on the surface of Earth, and they have no idea how like controlled they are, and they always ask for proof of alien life, and I'm like, you have no idea the technology or the reality that you're taught. Like there could be an alien standing right in front of you, but he's a higher density being, and you can't see him or through perception, right? So
Right.
yeah.
That's
What do you
it
guys?
exactly.
What do you guys think of it? Think of when you hear from like good guy aliens, like we were talking earlier about the Sandia crew. Guys like that saying, hey, disclosure's coming, 2024, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I was told late 2023. Yeah.
So, let me ask you. Oh, I'm sorry. You can answer Dan's question. Mine was Dan, you're not allowed to talk. No, go ahead and answer Dan's question. What do you think of the good guy aliens? I mean,
Or do you think there really are any good guy aliens? I'm sorry, off-world.
I think
aliens is racist. But
I think there are ETs out there that don't have bad intentions on us. Whether they're technically good or not is still, on the table. I don't have any experience to back all that up. I've come across astral projected beings or beings in higher densities that I was basically able to see through in my environment that gave off good vibes, but they could have been projecting those and basically implanting the thought of just keeping me calm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
honestly
good.
don't know.
I think good and bad is such a a weird word because when you're in a reptilian body, they think they're not doing anything wrong because we're just property to them, right? It's just like the whole cows and chicken thing to human beings, right? So like when I don't think there is anything such as good or bad because everyone has a perception of what good is and what bad is, and to what species it is,
True
and
that.
to the alien species in the galaxy, human beings are on multiple planets, and they're just human beings are genetically third dimensional slave beings. That's all they are. It's just like robots. If we created robots, like would they think we're good or bad because we control them and abuse them? Like that's what we created them for, is to be abused and to create negativity, energy, and stuff like that, and to be eaten.
We're not just your Jaffa, you bastards.
No, it literally is that. People are like, reptilians are so evil, and they're not. They just made us to be their food source and energy source or slave force. Like, that's just who we are.
From my personal perspective, I have a code of honor. Like, it's different than the altars that and when I was in service, because I was basically a brainwashed slave. But I do have a code of honor, and it falls in line with the law of free will. If you're going against somebody's free will, then what you're doing is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but try to convince that.
It's as simple as that.
So let me put this.
You may think you're a good person from your perspective, but from that individual's perspective, whose free will is being infringed on, you're a bad person.
Let me put this to you guys. Now, we all got our own fantasies of what we want disclosure to look like, but what do you think realistically it will look like?
I don't think human beings can handle full disclosure, like true full disclosure of everything that happens, like how they were created, and like the gross stuff that happens to them on a daily basis, and how the religions are all fake and blah blah blah. Like I don't think a lot of humans could handle it, but it needs to happen, and I don't know. It's like a coin flip of what's going to happen. I have no idea how people are going to handle it.
Right. Well, what do you think it'll look like? You think it'll just be a big, massive information dump? Will it be a slow drip thing, or
Well, it's been a slow drip for the last 10 years. You can see every movie that's been coming out is all about, aliens and invasions and technology, Star Trek, Star Wars, everything. And there's all there. You can even find all the truth on the internet if you want to, if you just Google it and YouTube it properly. So people are already being nurtured for full disclosure. So when it comes out, they're like, oh yeah, that's just an alien from this planet. And all they have to do is say, well, yeah, these movies weren't really fiction; they're full disclosure. So if you want to know about what's going on, just watch these movies again. Yeah.
So you think it'll just be a full-on reveal?
Oh, I don't know. Probably. I hope so, because it's gonna take someone important, like say a Trump on TV, to say it's true.
Right.
People, you can't just like us. I could go to a superstar and start saying this is all true, and everyone's just gonna look at me like I'm an idiot. So it's gonna be someone that people will listen to.
Well, you never know too, because we were looking on the first hour when we had Tess on. We were going over some news articles, and we were talking about one where this basketball star recently was talking about how we didn't go to the moon. And they really try to paint him to be a dipshit. So I guess it's a double-edged sword, the celebrity thing. It'll either stick or that person's done. I think
it's gonna take aliens like walking among us, like that whole California fire about that paradise fire, about how those aliens were living amongst us for like the last 60 years, and they kind of look like us, but they have like purple eyes, so they wear contacts, and they were just purposely destroyed in that California fire because the cabal didn't want them to come out with full disclosure. Like they would probably release aliens with tall whites out first that look like us, so it's not too scary, right? So,
well, then there's also those rumors of a fake alien invasion staged by mantids. Randy Kramer is talking about that. That's on the table, which is pretty weird. It's pretty damn weird to me. It doesn't make any sense.
What would that do? Unite mankind against the mantids on a fake belief that they attacked us or they didn't?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another lie based on a truth.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to take a revolution. I think it's human beings are going to start seeing this stuff, and just like the revolution starting in France, right, where people are starting to fight against their government. Like that's the birth of this revolution. So,
right. So, what about you, Matt? What do you think that disclosure will look like?
Well, honestly, I really can't see full, complete disclosure happening, especially anytime soon. These guys are a lot smarter than we let them on to believe. I mean, they've enslaved us all. They've brainwashed us all, and we've let them do it. We've literally handed ourselves over to them to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not stupid. So what I think is actually going to happen is they're probably going to reduce our infrastructures to rubble. Our ability to communicate with each other is probably going to be destroyed before any of this is let out.
Wow, that's intense,
Then,
man.
well, it's like I was saying, they're not idiots. Disclosure is going to happen eventually, one way or the other. What I think is probably going to happen is things are just going to be things are going to go to hell in a handbasket, and then we're just going to have to stand up and finally, because communications out, we're all going to start setting up individually and little societies, and throwing out the people that have been brainwashing us, and we may have help.
Sure.
We may have help. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know how true that is or not. So that's kind of what I see happening.
I heard there's no help coming. It's just it's like, so if full disclosure does come out, so but like after full disclosure, what's going to happen? Like you need to destroy the old world before the new world comes out, and when full disclosure comes out, like, are we going to be free from the reptilians? Are we going to be free from the genetic pharma races that still farm us out? Like, that's what I don't get. Like, are we going to rebel against those people? Like,
I get the feeling we're going to have to fight for our freedom, and it's not going to happen until everybody wakes up. And nobody's going to wake up if everybody's still comfortable and working their 9-to-5 jobs. Hell's going to have to freeze over before everybody wakes up.
Yeah. You have to destroy the old world to create the new world. Yeah, there has to be a revolution for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we can't even get people. We can't even get people to wake up.
You could.
I'm sorry, man.
Well, I mean, think about this. I'm sorry. Yeah. Think about this for a minute. Everyone that has woken up has gone through hell in order to wake up. Shit went down in their lives. They thought they were crazy, and they started seeking help. They started seeking answers and started finding out this is happening to other people. The same stories happening to others. So they start waking up. They start communicating with each other. The only way for full disclosure to happen is if that happens on a full global scale. And the only way for that to happen is for everybody else to be uncomfortable. The only way people are going to wake up from their dream is through discomfort.
I always get something good. So when we're all on Facebook, like me, Matt, Penny, and a bunch of other like Solo Warden or not DARKFLEET people talking about like star seeds or reptilians and all of our memories and stuff, I have people that are not awakened private message be like, either they read all of our comments and stuff, they're like, either you guys are the biggest liars on the planet, or like this is like actually true. Like they're like blown away, like how much like me and Matt will just rant on memories and like all these people.
And they're still on the fence about it because their lives are still comfortable. They're still holding on to the dream of the 9-to-5 job, having bacon on the table every morning. Yeah. When things start getting Nazi era hardships against the Jews on a global scale against everybody, only then will everybody wake up.
Yeah, no, it's hard enough to get people to wake up to just the financial system. You know what I mean? Like it's then you start talking about secret space programs, time travel, reptilians, and shit. Your average everyday person just looks at you like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I mean, I get it all the time because the people I work with,
Usually you lose people at Space Nazis.
Yeah, I find that's the easiest one to get them. Like, I work with people, and it's no secret what I do. I let them know, right? And I talk to them about this stuff. But I've found the easiest way to break it down is exactly that. What do you do a show about? Space Nazis and aliens and shit. Oh, okay.
Space.
Yeah. So.
Right.
But I guess because it's like that's almost like socially acceptable now because it's been in the mainstreams for so long. Like space Nazis. Oh yeah, I know that.
Oh yeah, it's so funny. A lot of people don't even want me to tell them. Sometimes I'll see people message me and I'll warn them like, hey, when I start talking truth, like when you start seeing it for yourself, like, it's like taking the red pill. You're never gonna go back. So do you really want to wake up and like get out of the sheep mode, or do you want to like be part of the revolution? And then when I started teaching the truth, I had people at hockey comp with me like, dude, I've been reading your Facebook stories for years now, and it's just mind blowing how it's waking me up, and now I'm so scared. Like it's all true. Like I don't want to be a slave anymore. And then it's just like even the financial system, it's just like people don't want to pay taxes or go to work anymore because we can change it by just not doing it anymore, right? So
yeah, we got a long battle ahead of us, and unfortunately a reset would probably be the easiest way to go about it, but who the hell wants to go through that?
Well, it may be the quickest way to go about it, but it's not going to be the easiest. Full reset would mean lives lost.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm not advocating for that, but I see that that's the only way for it to happen, for the whole world as a whole to wake up, for the whole world as a whole to freeze over.
For me, it's how do they go about...
For their hell to freeze over.
For me, it's how do they go about that reset? You know what I mean? I can't get behind the... What's that?
The solar flash is a natural thing that's going to happen in 2023 that knocks out power on Earth for like 5 or 6 years, like across the like global scale, and no power for a lot of people. That's like like no Wi-Fi, no Facebook, no money transfers, nothing, right? For 5 years, like that's going to completely, be a reset. And then the reset has to happen because the biggest problem for mankind to evolve and wake up is you need to get rid of religion, and it's going to be a hard time for those people to understand. The last 3,000 years has been a complete lie with religion, and a lot of people are going to fight against that stuff, like, no, my God's real, and it's just going to be like religious wars across the planet and death and stuff like that.
I hope not, man. That'd be really disappointing.
Well, I mean, look at this. The word Ragnarok is a historical reference that the Norse part of their language, and what it doesn't mean a cataclysm. What it means, Ragnarok and the other word I can't remember. I have another brain fart. All right, moving on.
You've been on Reality Brief too long.
All right, we're just going back to Ragnarok. The word Ragnarok actually references historical events that happen at a systematic period throughout history. Every so often we move through a period of an area of space that charges the sun to the point where it solar flashes. This is actually in Norse history. This is in Egyptian history. This is in Incan history. This is in Hindu history. This is in Chinese history. They all talk about, the oldest writings talk about the same event of us moving through a very specific point of space, and this is a natural cycle that happens periodically. Every time we hit that same point of space, the sun gets too energized, and it flashes off like a capacitor, and then it goes dark for several days. Well, during that several day time period, not only are we dealing with all electronics, especially the transformers by our houses and streets, going along our streets, are all going to blow up like little mini volcanoes. But at the same time, the sun's going to go dark. Everything's going to start to die for 3 days. Most of the time, it's just 3 days, and the Earth is going to freeze over in within that time period. It's going to get cold, and then the sun's going to come back, and it's going to start to warm up again.
All right, well, Matt, I'm gonna have to cut you off there, man, because we're gonna have to jump to the break here in just a second. So if you guys got anything you just want to say real quickly in closing before we go, please do it right now.
No, I'm good.
Okay, Joel.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll keep going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we gotta get to the break so we can get the next guest on.
But
But
we'll definitely have both of you back on.
Yeah, I would like
We've
to
got so
set
much
up
more to talk about.
Set up an actual 2-hour bit with you guys, and maybe somebody else might be pretty cool. So, I'll contact you. I'll contact you in the future. Soon.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right. Thank you.
All right,
guys.
thanks for having me.
Take it easy.
Be safe, guys.
Okay.
You too.
All right. And I guess we'll see the rest of you guys on the other side.
Before we get to the other side of the break, I wanted to cut out a little earlier so we could do this, but they were, and then we started late. I felt bad. So, but really quickly. Last hour's winner from the what is that beeping?
I don't know.
Last hour's winner from the Megasode giveaway, Jake Twix. So Jake, be on the lookout. We'll be contacting you tomorrow to get your information to mail this stuff out. And with that, here it goes. Okay, guys, here are the rules. If you just started watching, if you want to win this Keck sticker, a reality brief sticker, and a brand new Human Services Animal Fire CD, then you could go ahead and either email us at realitybrief.gmail.com or Facebook/realitybrief. Send us a message there, and we will use the time code to give the first person to message us or email us their brand new prize, and we will announce that winner at the end of the next hour.
It's going to be fantastic.
So,
it's going to be amazing.
We've got more stuff to give away, tons of more guests, all kinds of awesomeness, so stick around. We'll see you on the other side.